So welcome everyone. We're here today to talk about Druid, the Docker-powered development environments for your projects and team. A little bit about me. My name is David Hernandez. I'm the manager of learning and contributions at FFW. You can contact me at Drupal.org. Username David Hernandez, all one word. And you can find me on Twitter at David Narampolis. A little about us, FFW. We are the world's largest Drupal agency, Go team, with over 400 people worldwide. We do development work for all industries and all clients. So what is Druid? Druid stands for Drupal Development Environment. It's an open source tool that we've built in-house at FFW for managing development environments. And why is this necessary? So when you're an agency that's our size and dealing with the clients at the size of the ones we deal with, there's a lot of problems you have to deal with. We have onboarding new developers, which is time consuming, right? If you have different people working on different environments, using different tool sets, that creates problems. If you're moving between projects for an individual developer, that's time consuming, right? You're dealing with different requirements for individual projects. One has different versions of PHP, one is using different plug and play services like Solar, and the other one isn't, or they're using different versions of the same service. How do you manage those in an individual environment on someone's laptop, desktop, or even on QA servers, dev servers, things like that. And all of that adds too many variables into the process and into your workflows. What happens when one developer is working in a particular environment and everything works fine for them and they develop specifically for that environment, then they try to deploy that somewhere, or they try to have someone else work on that project who's dealing with a different environment. That introduces problems. How do you troubleshoot that process? How do you find out where all of that is introduced? Well, creates an entire situation where you have so many variables, it makes all of your troubleshooting very difficult. And then you also have inconsistency in your training and documentation. In my role, I do a lot of the internal training for developers. I build documentation, training materials, courseware. If what I'm writing and the course material I make is not the same as what a developer experiences on a project, that's a big problem. How do I onboard someone and give them materials, give them information, and when they actually do work, everything that they encounter, the tool sets, the environments is different, right? You now have an entire onboarding process specifically for that project work, and that wastes time, right? And then it becomes harder for team members to work together, right? If everyone has different environment, everyone has different tool sets, how do they share with each other? How do they work together? How do they pass information back and forth, different things that they've learned, right? And if you put all that together, what you find out is you become very inefficient, especially at the scale that we're at. Right? And all of that wastes time. And for us, if we're wasting time, we're wasting money. We're wasting our money, we're wasting our clients' money, which we're not too keen on. All right, so in steps Druid. Druid is a command line tool that's specifically for managing all of these individual development environments. It's completely self-contained, so each project has its own environment. They do not interfere with each other. If each project has its own set of requirements, they stay completely separate from each other. The environments are also local to your system, and because they're completely separated, if you need to remove one of them, there are no tentacles left on your system, very small footprint. They're all Docker images, which are specifically configured in Tune just for Drupal. And they're consistent across all operating systems. So if you have team members who are working in Linux, you have team members who are working on Mac OS, you have team members who are working on Windows, they all have the exact same environment, they all have the exact same experience, they're all using the exact same tool. And as I said, it's very lightweight, so if you need to remove projects, if you need to add projects, it's not resource intensive at all, unlike some other tools that might require an entire virtual machine for each project. You don't have this giant footprint. Very small resources are necessary to run Druid. And it simplifies your continuous integration, right? So the environment that you set up on your local system, the environment that a team member uses, can be the exact same environment that you then deploy to a server someplace, to a QA server, a sandbox, a place where a project manager can test out features, right? You can deploy the exact same environment, quickly, say, branch a work that you're doing to add a feature, deploy that somewhere, let a project manager, QA person see it, even the client see it, test it, and you won't have those problems that you normally have when people are dealing with all these different systems. And of course, easy to use. That's a theme that is consistent everywhere with Druid that I stress to everyone. It's very easy to use. You have one tool, you have one system. That one tool is very easy to use to set up projects, to manage those projects, to turn things off, turn things on. You don't have to worry about all the underlying technology and how to manage it, how to install it, how to set it up, how to deal with it. Druid handles all that for you. So one command to get yourself set up, and you start working right away. So what's in it? What comes in the box? Well, everything is Docker-based, so it's all containerized. You get containers for your web server, your containers for your database server, all that sort of stuff. If you're on Mac and Windows, it uses Vagrant and VirtualBox, which is necessary because there isn't Docker support yet within those operating systems, but I've actually seen things that indicate that that's coming soon, so then we can actually remove that part of it. And then you get common tools that every developer uses, every Drupal developer. So we have built-in tool, Drush is there automatically. Console support, automatically there. You also get Composer, PHP CLI, Xdebug. That support is already there, it's built in. As soon as you use Druid and you set up a project space, Xdebug is already installed and set up. No more worry about downloading those binaries, configuring Apache and PHP and all that sort of stuff. As soon as you download and set up a project, you can immediately set your breakpoints and get your Xdebug information right away. And then we have other services included, Node, its package manager, NPM, Ruby, Python, all kinds of other things. And this is just the short list. If you go to the website, you can see all the other things that come included. This is just the things that I'm presenting here today. And then we have plug and play services. So Solr support automatically built in. You can have containers for Solr, Varnish, Memcache, Mailhog, all of that included right out of the box. And we have integrated testing with Selenium and Behat, because we use Behat for a lot of testing ourselves internally. So when you set up Druid, all that support is already there. And because it's containerized, anything that you can containerize, Druid will support. So if you need another service besides Solr, if you use Elasticsearch or something else, if you can create a container for it, Druid will support it. So any of your project requirements, it can handle. You don't have to worry about just what it comes included in the repos that we have right now. Here I have a little video. It's a demonstration of us setting up a project. We created a Drupal 7 test project and a Drupal 8 test project. Those GitHub repos are out there so anyone can try them. And what we're actually doing here is we're using the Druid command to initialize a project. And you can see how quickly it runs by. I'm going to have to wait for this to actually loop several times as I described it because that's how fast Druid is. So when we get back to it, the first command is actually going to the GitHub repo, checking out the project, and then we do the DSH command. That is Druid, the DSH command, and we'll run an init. So here we are, we're cloning just that project, changing directories, and then we do the init. And the initialization happens very quickly. So Druid handles everything for you. It starts doing the initialization of the containers. It starts up the containers. You can see it's changing users. It's resetting permissions. Right now we're waiting for MySQL to start. It will then do an automated Drupal installation. So anything you can normally do for an automated installation with Drupal, Druid can handle. It uses Drush to do the installation, and then when it's done, it will present you with your admin username and password for the site that it's installed, and then it will give you the URL, which you can then put in your browser, and you're good to go. The site's already there. Instantly, we have a Drupal 8 site set up. There's nothing that you had to do. You didn't know how to manage Docker containers. You didn't know how to manage Vagrant. You didn't even know how to do the Drupal installation. You don't have to set up the virtual host for these. I can't remember the last time I actually had to modify Apache files to set up a virtual host because it does it for me. You don't have to worry about the IP addresses, the ports, the port mapping, the port sharing. Druid just does it all for you. You just put in the configuration, what host name you want, and then it's done. You go to your web browser, your site is there. So think about how quick and easy it is for you to now onboard another developer onto your project. You give them the project that you have configured. They download it, they run the init command, your project is there. You don't have to waste those hours of time that you've done before. Okay, you now have to download and set up Solr. You now have to download and set up this. You have to do all these other things. With Druid, you don't have to do any of that. You onboard someone immediately, they can start working on the project and worry about what they want to worry about, which is working on the project, not working on the tools. We've handled the tools for you. If you want to know more about this, you can feel free to talk to me. But today, we actually have a BOF that we've set up. Our chief architect who worked on the Druid project will be there. I will be there. A few of the other FFW people will be there. And we'll talk more about this. So if you want to find out how you can extend Druid, create other containers, the configuration, set it up locally on your laptop, feel free to stop by. And we're purposefully doing this today, also before the sprints tomorrow. I'm actually a contribution mentor, and I'm one of the core contributors. So if you're interested in contributing, you've never done that before, feel free to come by. I can help you out with that, and I can show you how to set up Druid on your laptop to quickly and easy get an environment set up, so you can then participate in the sprints tomorrow, where you don't have to worry about wasting half the day just getting all of your environments set up and getting Drupal 8 set up. We can take care of that for you in just a few minutes. Feel free to visit our website, ffwagency.com/Druid, where we have more information. We have links to everything else. So we have links to where you can go and download Druid and set it up. We have links where the Drupal 7 project is, the Drupal 8 project, documentation, and all the other information. That's it. Thank you all.